I think the adrenaline of Saturday, or I should say Sunday at noon, the adrenaline, the opponent, the crowd, just the buildup, and then for us to actually compete the way we did and have the kind of game that we did. Believe me, there was a million things that I didn't like about that game from our standpoint, what we didn't do, or what we did do. And I don't know if I expected or anybody expected a carryover that like we're going to do the exact same thing Wednesday at Marquette. I knew that wasn't going to be possible. So you knew some kind of letdown was coming. I just didn't expect it to be that, that extreme. But at the same time, we started the game off on a bang. We're up 8-0 or whatever it is. We're getting the ball where we wanted to get it. We're doing what we want to do. And they, to their credit, they just never backed down. And they came back at us really hard. And we just, didn't respond for the first time all year. We just didn't respond. And I think it got to the point where it was just, I don't have it in me for this fight tonight. And nothing wrong with that. Well, you can only go by what you've seen so far, and every game that we've asked, everything that we've asked of them, they've done it. And I don't think the 2 losses are as much of an issue as our physical state, our mental state, as to how we are physically. The losses themselves, it's not like they've never lost before. We already had a couple going in. So I'm not as much concerned about, are we going to get over the losses as how do we figure out how to play through this physically and be consistent and be mentally present. That's going to be our biggest challenge going forward.
Have you ever seen this kind of mental fatigue in your players before, like it's in past teams?
No. You've never been in this situation. There's been times when, for whatever reason, we were limited in how many, but the combination of that and having to work so hard, and because we don't have any scoring coming off the bench, so all those geniuses that say play your bench more, we have to score points, and we don't have any scorers on the bench. So that works on their mind too, that every shot we take, those starters, every shot they take, every offensive possession, there's a tremendous amount of pressure. On my 30-some years here at Connecticut, we always had 1 or 2 kids coming off the bench and they just scored points. And you saw how much our team was different when, we had Carroll, coming off the bench, or in the starting lineup, and Aubrey coming off the bench. However, it worked out. But we don't have that. So there's tremendous, pressure on having to make. And then add that in the fact that we don't have enough ball handlers, and the ball's flying all over the place. So it's a weird combination that popped up the other day. And obviously you think about it, that wasn't there Sunday. As a coaching staff, there's different strategies that we can use, especially with today's technology. There's things that we can do at practice. There's things we can do off the practice floor, which we actually had one of those days, a couple of days before the South Carolina game. You have these mental health days, kind of, where you get away from basketball for a little bit and get your mind on some other things, in a different environment, So there's lots of strategies that we use. Some of it just takes care of itself. For instance, late January, early February, the grind of the season catches up to you. I don't care how you prepare for it, how you don't, the grind of the season catches up to you. And it lasts quite some time. And you hope that you're good enough to fight through it. Then as March rolls around, everything changes. All of a sudden, you're not tired. All of a sudden, mentally, you're not somewhere else. You're not fatigued anymore. Because now it's tournament time. So the adrenaline starts flowing. You practice hardly at all because you have so many games. The excitement takes care of a lot of that. Sometimes during the season, at this time of the season, there ain't a whole lot of excitement going on.